I'm a little nervous being this close.
Does everybody know? So it says live, but we're not always live until it says.
Yeah, you're alive.
Okay, great. So we are back in Senate institutions on Thursday, January 29th. And now we are looking at section 13 of the Capitol bill. And we have with us folks from the Department of Public Safety and first the commissioner. So if you would like to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for having us. My name is Jennifer Morrison. I am the Commissioner of Public Safety. I'm joined by Deputy Commissioner Dan Batesy and our wingman from BGM, Joe Asia. And I have online Captain Mike Manley from the State Police and Director Mike DeRocha from the Division of Fire Safety. In case there are questions that we can't answer. Inside the Department of Public Safety, of course, you know, a lot of people think of it as the Vermont State Police, but there's the Division of Fire Safety, Emergency Management, Administration and Finance, the lab, radio technology, and our 8th division is the Division of Animal Welfare. So 8 divisions under our circus head. This Capitol bill implicates most primarily State Police and the Division of Fire Safety. There are 3 things in the Capitol bill that I'm going to give you just a quick mention of, and then Joe is going to give you the nuts and bolts in the slide deck. The first priority, which has been our first priority for the last 4 budget years, is what some people are calling a USAR building, but it's actually a special teams building. And by special teams, I certainly do include the urban search and rescue teams, but also the hazmat team and the State Police recreational boating program and various other special equipment that the State Police have to house, ATVs, snowmobiles, various things that they need to have. The special teams building is also envisioned that we would bring things together under one roof and that we would also then be able to get out of a lease in Williston for the fire safety regional office. So we would be bringing together the 3 components of special teams, the fire safety regional office in one location. The State Police part of the special teams equipment was supposed to be part of the new Williston Field Station. The project ran out of money and they ran into ledge. So but there is still all of the special equipment from the State Police at the old Williston Barracks. It's still being stored there. The urban search and rescue equipment is not just swiftwater rescue boats. That's one component of what they do. They also do rope and aerial type rescues. They do shoring, which includes a lot of things to beef up structures that have maybe been part of a fire or partial landslide, so that they go in and shore it up so that searches can be done or investigations can be done. There's a lot of equipment, pneumatic equipment. There's a lot of very expensive equipment under the urban search and rescue umbrella. That and most of our hazmat equipment, also very expensive and very specialized, is currently being housed at AOT District 5 in the Fort Canal. It is in a, I don't know, what do we call it, a garage or
An old hangar or something.
it's an old Quonset hangar thing that they were kind enough to let us take residence in because they didn't want it anymore, didn't want to use it anymore. And it has never been appropriate for its use that we are using it for. It is not sprinkled. So we have millions of dollars in assets that are not sprinkled. The general work conditions and facilities are abominable. And so it was meant to be a very temporary fix. And I know Commissioner Sherling raised this issue before he left, but this is I believe my 4th year bringing this issue forward, that we need to have an appropriate storage for the equipment, but we also need an appropriate place for the people who work in that building. So that's the special teams building. That's our top priority. The other 2 are pretty straightforward. It's the replacement of the Rutland Field Station, the Rutland Barracks, and that replacement is destined for a piece of land in Clarendon that we bought 15-ish years ago. And the time has come, and Joe will give you more detail on that. Captain Manley's available to answer questions as well. And then that, there's also money, a smaller amount of money to begin the work of replacing the Shaftesbury Barracks, which is, it's a leased building on a very small piece of land in Shaftesbury. And that would be the next field station up after Rutland Clarendon is done. So those are the three things that will be, that you will find in the capital bill. And Joe has more of the, industry talk, so I will get right out of his way.
Moving on. For the record, Joe Asia, Director of Design and Construction with Buildings and General Services.
Joe, when you go through these, could you mention if they were in the bill last year or not? I think USAR is the only one
That is from.
that is new. And then just if you could also talk about the total project cost, which I think you normally do, and I appreciate that.
All right, so first up, we'll go with the least cost right now, Shaftesbury Field Station and planning. So in FY 27 bond money, we're requesting 150,000. And this is to start the understanding of the needs of public safety down at that area that they're working out of and what the next building would be. We are looking to still continue the buildings that we started way back when we started Derby, public safety building, somewhat of an H-shaped building. That has worked because it can expand different ends of wings and as the property also allows. So it does work well for that aspect, and we're looking to do the same thing here. So like a cookie cutter that you take what you need locally, fits in the property, and it works best for us. And theoretically, there's less design involved because a lot of that has already been worked out. The Berlin Barracks is the only one that does not follow that model. That was the old state library when they moved out of Middlesex. So with the Shaftesbury Field Station, what we're looking to do is, with this funds, is to gather the information from public safety of their needs and then sort of develop a right size square footage of the building and then go out and look for property that'll fit that. So put an ad out there or work with a realtor or both to look for land and then assess each property that comes in along with the pros and cons and the cost, and then select a site. Then at that point, we'd be coming back for additional funding in language to purchase property and start the design process, and then ultimately construction. But this year is only to start that planning process.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Not too much of that. I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this, but I spent 35 years as a volunteer fireman, and one of the biggest problems we have out there with ambulance service, fire service, is dispatch. And I think we kind of went a little bit on the way when we set up the 911 system, but we didn't follow it all the way through with the actual dispatch centers. And it's getting harder and harder for people to find places that do reliable dispatch. I know several towns I deal with use the state police, and I understand you guys, the first priority is state police calls and the others come afterwards. But thinking ahead, it would be great as we start planning these facilities, maybe not initially that they become dispatch centers for more than state police, but in the planning stages, you're thinking about that because public safety is more than simply the state police. And if we could make sure the dispatch centers that you're planning for have room for expansion to address some of these other needs down the road, I would think would be good planning.
I'd be happy to speak to that briefly. work that you're contemplating is already being done by the Public Safety Communications Task Force, which was established in Act 78 in 2023. That task force is completing its work and did present their findings to Senate Gov tomorrow. We'll be delivering their recommendations to Senate and House Gov Ops. And there will undoubtedly be conversations about exactly what you just spoke of. I will say that if there were an appetite for the state, I mean, as you know, we had 4 PSAPs and we collapsed to 2 many years ago. If we were to unfold that box again, it would not be in Shaftesbury. It would likely be back in Rutland and Derby. So I don't think that Shaftesbury would be contemplated as also a PSAP/dispatch center, but that it does not mean that other, like the Clarendon station, that shouldn't be a consideration as we examine that site and the design phase of that, which he's going to talk about in a minute. But the reality is that we have to figure out what the future shape of public safety dispatching looks like. There are currently 37 entities providing dispatching services, and several of them are out of state. They're in New York, they're in New Hampshire, they're not. So shrinking that number and finding an equitable way of people paying for that service and providing equitable service, whether you're the fire department or the state police, is all part of the work of the task force that we are hopeful will get some attention this semester. This strange that word came to mind. And that we will have a better sense of what the preferred future of public safety dispatching across the whole state is by the end of this session.
My only point was not miss an opportunity.
I hear you, sir, and we don't want to miss opportunities. We are acutely aware that in this dispatch space, that the fire service and EMS services can no longer be an afterthought. They have to be equal partners with the consideration of not just where we build state, dispatch centers, but how we provide the service.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, really good question. And I didn't know that report is coming out tomorrow. So that's helpful. Can you talk about why you need to move it from this location to another location?
Presently, this is lease space. So we've been leasing, I've been here for over 40 years. And as far as I know, we've leased that spot. One of the days it could go away, but it is still,
Hold on.
meeting the needs.
Did you start when you were like 3?
Yes.
40.
When I was 3, I just lived down at the end of
Oh,
the road.
I was just checking. You've been here 40 years.
And he remembers everything, which is really helpful. Do you,
It's also.
did you probably talk to the owner about buying it?
We have not, if we're looking to buy the property, then what do we do for temporary setup for public safety?
I also want to point out that there's a lot of problems with that site.
Okay, that's what I.
Right, so
Okay,
it's backs up to a quarry and there's a persistent
is
dust
that the thing
problem.
on that side?
Yep.
Because it
Yeah, the grade.
looked like water to me. Okay,
It's not a waterfront
okay,
villa at all.
yeah, well, that would be flooding issues anyway, so.
Yeah.
All right.
The other
let's
one.
move forward.
The Rutland problem, but it's backs up to a quarry and there's a persistent dust issue, which is having to be mitigated and can't be in some cases. And I know that Captain Manley might have other thoughts on that, but there are problems with that
Okay.
site.
Okay. Thank you.
Also with Shaftesbury.
Yeah, except maybe you don't have it yet, but I think it's good for us to know the total amount.
No idea.
estimate. What did the last one,
I can,
what's the range?
the last one's not a good one because that was Williston. That was a larger facility. But when we go into Rutland, the Rutland facility would be looking at 17 to 18 million.
Total,
Yes. Today's estimate.
thank you.
So this one would be in today's dollars. Roughly the same. Now, both Rutland and Shaftesbury would not include land purchase
Okay,
because Rutland was purchased years ago. Up next, Clarendon Field Station. So it is the Rutland Public Safety, as everybody knows it. We're moving down the road to an intersection of Route 7 and 103. This land was purchased back towards the end of design, started construction of Westminster. It's been on the books for a while. And the reason was that was the next facility that needed to be replaced. However, during that time frame of putting together an RFP for design, Williston really came to a head in the condition of the old Williston Public Safety Facility. We literally had windows that just fell out, the sidings board, the metal building part of the structure is rusted through, so it has had a lot of issues going on for it, and that's why Williston moved to the forefront and Clarendon sat in the back. Now Clarendon is up. We're moving forward with it. We now have a contract for an architect. They've been working on it. We're 60% complete the schematic design phase. There's a local, the sewer line is running through there to the city of Rutland. So that's a bonus. We will have to do a drilled well. When you look at the property in the bottom photo, you'll see there's a tree line running through and dividing that property. The power company has a right of way through there that they're giving up. They have decided on their own to route power around our property line down along Route 7 and 103. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. So instead of having a bifurcated building, we now have the whole site to work with. So we'll be coming in off of 78 to access the property. And that'll be for the public side of things. It's public, if you look at most of the facilities, there's the public and then public safeties in a fenced yard at sort of the back side. And this property will work out good for that also.
What's those white buildings that are in there or whatever?
Those are storage sheds.
Okay, is that part of the property?
It is not. The
Okay,
yellow line is the property.
okay.
And a little bump out in there, but I'm not sure. It might be a well.
Okay.
I know I did look at it years ago. I just don't remember off the top of my head now what that is.
It's wooded.
Yes. The top photo is the existing public safety facility, even though the point on it says Transportation Department here on the top part of and outside of the photo. But that is the building the public safety is housed in. On the left-hand side, see a gray roof, the parking lot. That is our DMV building down there.
And that'll stay? The DMV?
Yes, so public safety, I don't know at this point in time if we have a means to backfill it with a different agency or whatnot, but that's still a few years down the road. So we do have some funding in hand already. We have enough to keep us going to complete the design. And then work with a construction manager to help us out at the end of the design phase, schematic design phase, they'll come on board and help verify the architect's work and true up an estimate. And be working with us to move forward on how best to lay this project out. We're not asking for any funds in this FY27. Because this is only for design, we obviously in future years will be back for the balance of it. Now, the reason we're moving out of Rutland, we can't see it, but over the tree line a little bit beyond that to the right is the river, and that has flooded at times, and the building itself is above the 100-year flood elevation. However, the road that connects to Route 7 gets flooded.
And it's also wet in there.
Yes. So they have to go not so good back way that also crosses that same river further downstream. So they could become landlocked if it was bad.
Well, and it's really old and nasty, the field station.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not just, there's flooding,
Yes.
pretty grim.
Has been quite some time, because but their needs, so
How long has it been there?
I don't recall. Before your time.
More than 40 years.
Could be quite a bit, but I don't know. if
We could find out for you, but
So the next one will be 50 years.
I'd like a 50-year
Yeah.
building.
Yes. If properly maintained, they'd hold up well.
Been there for better than 40 years, because I was down there. I lived down in that direction in 1986, and was there very strongly.
No, probably not, but
Okay,
next up, we have the special teams facility and storage. And that consists of, as the Commissioner said, the urban search and rescue, the hazardous material, hazmat, the Marine Division, and Fire Safety Regional Office for Williston. In Williston. This came out about originally when we constructed the Williston facility. We had to cut to save cost. We cut parts in the building, it still wasn't enough, so we cut out the whole Marine Division garage at the time. Right now, they're squatted in the old facility. We did have language 2 years ago to sell the Williston property. The town of Williston had right of first refusal. They chose not to, because we have not found a home for the Marine Division. They're squatting there right now, and it has come to EGS's thought is, can we repurpose this building and not sell it? It's a thought. Their developer is also looking to construct a road would be the south side of the existing building. There's a piece of property between us and a gas station. If they put a road in there, it connects back to the mall with a light to get you to the other side of the road. That facility, I think, becomes more valuable because you're not trying to take a left turn out of the facility is difficult. Here you'll have a light now. We come off the back side of the property. So what we're looking to do is complete some programming and planning to understand total needs of public safety. And then also going forward, can it be met on the Williston site? Or do we have to look at other things? One being, do we look at putting the Marine Division back on the new Williston site? If so, what does that entail? The cost and everything else. Or go out and find another location to house them all together. That's doable. Land value in that neck of the woods is difficult, very expensive. So trying to find that, not sure. This photo that I have here was our attempt back in 24, where we evaluated constructing a large building to have everything. We didn't have the funds. It was a speed to get it underway and going. It was built to suit. That came in very high. Property was found. Exit 16, I believe. And right off the exit, but the issue is that it came in on the lease rate close to $2 million a year. And that doesn't come out of bonding money. That comes out of Commissioner's general fund budget. And whether that could be sustainable. It just didn't appear to me that, that was the right way to go. We evaluated the building and said, okay, what if we cut off fire safety? What if we cut off, hazardous materials and then urban search and rescue and with the Marine Division? The value dropped a little bit, but not enough to make it worthwhile to even do that. So it may be that this process would be looking at the existing public safety land, the old public safety land. The presently USAR Hazmat is located on the fort with V-Trans District 5. Can that building that they're in be renovated at a reasonable cost, considered equal to or better than building new? Could we build new on that site? So all these have got to come into play, and that's what our next steps are going to be for this project.
that's fairly complicated, trying to figure that out.
Yes,
So that is that plan on the Williston property that we tried to sell?
no, this plan here was the one that we had on Build to Suit, where we tried to put everybody into one massive building.
So that's your ideal?
Yes, because they're able to drive through. Presently, right now, if you went to use our hazmat or even the old, where the Marine Division is in the old public safety facility, they're 2 or 3 vehicles deep.
Mm.
If you use our hazmat, they're some of their boats and equipment in diagonally parked in between some columns. And so you gotta move the main bay out first just to get to those, to swing those out and then move everybody back. So it's a big chess game that you gotta play.
Do you have helicopter access?
Well, we don't have any
Do you want it?
helicopters.
Right. But other people do, who you might be coordinating with. Yeah. Do you? I guess not, or they would just land on the pavement.
They'd land on the pavement.
Yeah.
So curious, Joe, you said originally this was going to be part of the new Williston facility, but it was cut because of.
Only the state police part.
Oh, it was the state-
The state police were
So not the whole piece.
Right, not the whole thing, right?
So you'll come back to us.
With a request for something on how we're going to move forward.
And so is the cash for this exploratory process?
Yes, all the funds that we have now will be going forward towards that.
Okay. Is there, anybody have any questions? So, I think this will be, so next year will you have plan, do you think?
I would like to say yes, but I'm not sure. It all depends, you know, in an architectural and engineering team on board, starting to assess developing their programs and how that's going to fit the size of the building, and then what?
So I guess just a question, just my district is probably as far away as you can get from where they are now. In Winooski, although I think it's Colchester.
Which component?
The hazmat.
So the hazmat and urban search and rescue have a large percentage of their specialty vehicles in 40th and Allen.
Yeah.
There are agreements with fire departments around the state that have swift water rescue teams. So we have written agreements with multiple fire departments to house our assets there so that they can mount a quick response, and then the cavalry can come from Colchester. So
Hazmat as well.
and hazmat as well.
Okay.
So there are rigs all over the state for hazmat and for USAR. It's not every single asset under one roof, but that's the vast majority of the assets under that roof.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. That's all.
And we'd really love for him to come back next year with a plan and a price tag.
I
Okay.
don't want to document it that I said yes.
You said you would try. That's fair. All right. Yeah, this should probably be a good field trip too, actually.
Sure.
We'd love to show you. what we have.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a question. So it's, hang on, let's look at the language. The language that we have is money to BGS, or DPS or an urban search and rescue facility. Is that sufficient language for you to use it for USAR and these other things, or does it need to have the entirety of the possible uses?
I think if we were going to change anything, change it to special themes.
Department of
Okay,
Public Safety,
yeah.
especially.
I guess my question is, does it need to be, or is that sufficient?
I'm not a lawyer. I mean, for me, I know what I'm presenting and you're agreeing, but you know, passing the bill. I'm good with it, but
All right, but good question. So we can figure that out.
Yeah, I know there was something last year that had to be changed a little bit in terms of the documentation, but so far.
Just look at
We have,
probably this or that.
yeah. Okay, good. All right, so does anybody online want to talk? I think they're online.
They're the back.
They have busy,
They're
they're
here
here
to-
people.
Yes, they're here in
Yes.
case. Rick's our money man in case we needed Rick. Mike's over the hazmat and urban search and rescue team, and Captain Manley's been representing the state police on all the field station work around the state.
There's a lot going on.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
You.
Thank you, Joe.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the additional stuff on
Thank you
the
for earlier conversation.
background check.
Got it.
I didn't go anywhere much.
Is there, I could rule potentially other.
Go up there and meet.
Presentations that
We have two more.
two
We
more
have, Vermont Historical Society and the court,
judiciary.
judiciary,
If there's one more I can do, let me know.
in that area.
Me too.
Yeah, it's kind of all you.
Thank you.
Well, let's adjourn until 3:30. Please.